this video, I'm going to talk about website hosting, what it is, what to look out for when choosing a web host, and the hosting company we use and recommend. Hey everyone, my name's Pete Moore from TechMyStressAway.com, and for well over 10 years I've built thousands of websites ranging from lead generation and sales funnels, WordPress-based websites, e-commerce stores, membership sites, and everything in between. This is real life experience I'm sharing with you in the videos, not theory. So what is web hosting? Well, first let's talk about the two components that we actually need before building a website. So the first thing we need is a domain name. Now this is the address of our website on the internet. And the second component is a hosting account. And this is where we store all our files that we need for a website. So it could be video, images, text, and it basically gives us the platform where we can install something like WordPress, which is the main software that we use to build the actual website. So if you think of it in real world terms, if we think of a business will have a address so people know where to go to visit. Say if it's a store or something like that, the place of business, we need to know where it is. So the business needs an address. So in digital terms, that's our website domain name. And the second thing is an actual location. So the actual location of the shop, as in like the physical building. So this is where we'll actually sell our products from. So in the digital sense, that's our hosting account. So I hope that kind of explains what the two components is that we actually need. Now, as you can see on the screen here, I'm on the SiteGround website. This is the company that we use for most of our websites, and it's the company that we actually recommend for other people to use. And we're going to look around the website, and I'm going to explain what certain things are, different options. But even if you decide to go with a different hosting company, it's still going to be the same kind of thing. So I think you'll still find useful information of what the different aspects are of a hosting account, what kind of things to look out for. Now, before I move into that, like I said, this is the company that we do recommend. Now, below the video will be an affiliate link. We will get a commission, just to be straight with you. If you decide to buy through our link, it will help to support the channel. But if you do decide to use a different hosting company, that's fine. It's just so you know that it's there and you know it's an affiliate link. So we want to be totally transparent with you. On the actual website here, most hosting companies will look quite similar. So if I hover over this hosting here, these are the different types of packages that SiteGround offer. So web hosting is like a shared account. So this means that they'll have one server where there's lots of different accounts on that one server. So that's why they call it shared. They also offer WordPress hosting, which is specifically for WordPress sites. Now, something I do want to mention here, as a lot of hosts do offer this, and people think, oh, I'm going to do a WordPress website, so I'm going to use WordPress hosting. My advice would be to stick with a shared account. This just gives you a lot more flexibility, and you can install, say you wanted to install like a help desk or something like that, something outside of WordPress, you can easily do that with this web hosting account. Whereas WordPress hosting is literally just for WordPress sites. So it doesn't give you that flexibility. So even if you are going to do a WordPress site, my advice would be not to do WordPress hosting. WooCommerce is a plugin for WordPress. This helps you create e-commerce stores. And again, I mean, this is the first time I've seen a hosting company that offers WooCommerce specifically. But again, I would stick to a shared web hosting account. Now, cloud hosting is more expensive. Again, it will still be a shared account, but the way cloud hosting works is your website will be stored on different servers all around the world. And then if a visitor comes, say, from the UK, they'll go to the closest server to them. So basically, it'll help the speed of the loading of your website. But as I mentioned, it is a lot more expensive. So if you're just starting out and you've not got that kind of the funds coming in for your business, then I would stick with starting with a shared account. And under here we've got reseller, which basically means you can sell hosting to other people if that's part of your business plan. Enterprise hosting, that's going to be for the enterprise, and dedicated are for really big companies. And if your website going forward starts to see a lot of traffic, then these are going to be the kind of options you're going to look at. But to keep things relatively cheaper, I'd say stick with this, and you can always upgrade further down the line. So I'm going to click web hosting, and this is going to give us 3 different packages that they do. So the cheapest one is the startup package, the middle one Grow Big, and the top one is Go Geek. Now again, most hosting companies will have different levels that you can do inside a shared hosting account. Now this will obviously just depend on what budget you've got, but just to give you a quick kind of look at the different things we've got here. So generally the cheapest account on any web host will only let you host one website, so one domain name. Then the middle one is multiple websites, same again with the third one. And the way the way SiteGround works is they give you a certain amount of space. Now 10, 20, 30 gig might not seem a lot, but if we think of most WordPress type websites will probably be between 100 and 150 meg in size. So even the cheapest one would still kind of host maybe like 100 WordPress websites. Now, obviously you can't do that because it's only allowing you to do one website, but just to give you an idea, it's like space, what that will do. 10, 20 gig is definitely more than enough if you're only going to do one website. And they also they don't limit the visits, but if you start hitting these ranges on your account, then obviously they'll start looking at if you need to upgrade. But that's not going to be an issue when you first kind of start your website. And as I said, you can always upgrade going down the line. So the main thing you need to decide when you choose a package is, am I going to just be building one website? Will this do for me for now? And then I can upgrade if I want to make more websites. This kind of keeps the cost down. But also what you do need to consider is that you are only going to get this discounted rate on your kind of like first bill. So it's just something to kind of consider. So what I'm going to do now is kind of go through the features a bit more. So if you scroll down on SiteGround, what happens when you start hitting this screen here, you'll see as this little drop down where it says the full feature list. So I'm just going to kind of go through that just to give you a bit more understanding of what the kind of different things they have to offer. So I've already mentioned about visits. Some hosting companies do claim that they will do unlimited traffic, which is, if you look in their terms and conditions, it's basically not true. We've looked at space. This, as far as I'm concerned, is more than enough for most websites. And again, it says how many you can have. SiteGround have a free drag and drop builder. So if you didn't want to use WordPress and you just kind of wanted to create like HTML type pages of a website, you could use that. I think they use Weebly is integrated, but I always recommend WordPress. That's the one I kind of prefer to use, but you can make your own choice. Now this CMS install, if we hover over it, each option gives you kind of a bit more information of what it is. You can install stuff like WordPress, like I mentioned, Joomla, Drupal. So all the different content management systems that most websites use to kind of build. You have unlimited free email accounts. So that could be like support at whatever your domain name is .com. You can create email accounts. Some hosts charge you for email accounts. So that's something to keep in mind if you go with someone else. Unlimited databases. Again, WordPress uses MySQL databases, so that's fine. Unlimited sub and part domains. So a subdomain would be something like, say you wanted to create a help desk, you could have support dot whatever your domain name is .com. So it's like a prefix to a domain name. cPanel and Softaculous. cPanel is the actual control panel. A lot of hosts especially on the shared accounts, use cPanel. They may have different versions of it, so they may look slightly different, or maybe like a custom version of it, but a lot of them use cPanel. If you do go to a company that gives you an option to use cPanel or Plesk, I highly recommend use cPanel. Plesk is quite technical to use and not very good when it comes to like managing stuff, especially if you don't understand really what you're doing. So I'd say stick with cPanel. They obviously have the 30-day money back guarantee. Now, with SiteGround, you can actually choose the location of where you want your website to be held. So they actually give you the option of 3 continents. So they have 4 data centers. So they have a data center in America, USA. They have 2 in Europe. One I think is UK, which is where our sites are hosted, and they also have one in Holland, I think it is, and then they have one in the Asia Pacific region. So really, when you choose which one, when you go to set it up after you've signed up with them, I would say keep in mind where you see most of your traffic coming from. So if you're specifically, say you're in the UK and you're going to be, kind of targeting people in the UK, then you really want your website to be hosted on the UK data center. And obviously, if it's the US or kind of rest of world, bar the Asia Pacific region, then I'd say go for the US. This can be hard to kind of choose, I understand, especially if it's a brand new website and you're kind of not really sure. But like I said, it's just something that you need to really think about. SSD storage is the actual type of hard drives, their servers, which the server is like their powerful computers, which is what the whole site's website are stored on. SSD is just a lot faster and a lot more stable than typical hard drives that you would get kind of in laptops and your PCs. Now you can get SSD drives for that, but you can, if you're interested, you can search more about it. They have a custom server build that they do, and it's based on Linux. Now, again, if you go to a host, some hosting companies will give you the option to choose Linux or Windows. Now, I've had quite a few clients in the past that kind of been caught out because obviously they use Windows, so they think, oh well, I want Windows like operating system on my website. Now, I've had lots of problems, especially when it comes with like WordPress. Doesn't seem to work well with Windows. It has got better over the years, but I would still always say if you're going to have the choice, go with Linux, which is Linux, Linux. Let's move on. They also have a CDN, which is a content delivery network. They integrate with Cloudflare. We don't actually use that, so I can't really say that much about them. It's always been a bit fiddly when I've tried to use Cloudflare in the past. But what Cloudflare does is kind of it does that where I was saying like with cloud hosting, where it'll show the website in a location closer to where your visitor is. So the way Cloudflare is, it kind of spreads your website out on their servers and gives like a cached version of it. And it's always caching that always seems to kind of cause the problem. And also, but the one good thing they do is because they do have a massive network, they do have quite a good blocking of like malicious type traffic. So people that are trying to spam or kind of attack websites. So that is something that's kind of worth having, especially if you don't really know what you're doing. So it might be an option you want to kind of look at. HTTP2 servers. This is the traditional way is HTTP, and that's the protocol that a lot of the web runs on. Now with this HTTP2, this is like a newer version of that protocol, and anyone that's using a browser, so say like Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, them kind of things, if they're using a version of them browsers that kind of works with HTTP2, it will actually load your website faster. I'm trying to keep away from the technical, but I just kind of want to give you an idea of what these things mean. A lot of the stuff won't really matter to you, and I'll cover the kind of key areas at the end of the video. Super Cacher is something that they have that kind of in a way works like Cloudflare does, where it caches your website to make it load faster. As you can see here, depending on what account you have, they have different levels. So level 1 is like their basic caching system for the cheapest package, and then they have level 3 for each different one. A lot of this kind of stuff here you don't really need to understand, so redundancy is just to do really with their servers and how they're kind of protected from like power spikes and hardware. So if the hardware fails, they have stuff on site to replace the different parts of all the different servers that they have. And like I said, you can kind of look at this yourself and just hover over the different things and it'll tell you all the kind of different things. They are quite good on security, so they have here anti-hack systems, and they're always keeping everything up to date, which is important with servers, all their server software, to keep it secure, and different vulnerabilities that all different software I'm sure you're aware of has. And also they do have some spam stuff to stop spam coming to your email account. Now, another good thing is they do have free auto daily backups, and that happens with all the different accounts to keep. So basically keep it for 30 days. They do one every day and keep 30 days. So should anything major happen with your website, you can always kind of restore it. It does say that the free backup restore is a paid thing on their cheapest account. So if you do need to do it, you might have to pay to get it restored. But I did actually look at an account yesterday where someone had the basic one and it did give me the option, so I'm not kind of sure. But definitely on the middle and top package, this is a free thing to do and it's really straightforward. And also with the Top Geek package, you can do backups on demand, so you can actually say you go into their backup tool and back up your site. Now, one of the major things with hosting is the support, and I can say that every time I've dealt with SiteGround support, it's been excellent. They are available via phone, instant messaging, which is chat, and you can also log tickets. And they've always been really helpful, and they do understand what's necessary. Now, the previous host where we moved all our sites from was HostGator, and we've used them for many, many years. And one of the reasons why we kind of moved from them is because their support, when they were bought by a company called EIG, basically just went down the tubes. And from what I've heard, a lot of the companies that EIG have bought, the same thing has happened. So just something to keep in mind, that support is really important, especially if you're not very technical. So I can definitely recommend SiteGround when it comes to support. They will do on their middle package and top package a free site transfer. So say you've got a WordPress site or something like that based on installed on another hosting company, you want to move to SiteGround, they'll do one free site transfer. The cheapest one they won't. And also you get priority support for the middle and top package. However, the support all round is just excellent as far as I'm concerned. So I don't think this is a major thing for you to kind of choose a higher price package just based on that. And again, they've got some e-commerce stuff here. So free shopping cart install. No, that's stuff like shopping carts like Magento, OS Commerce, PrestaShop. So if you was going to use any of them, they can do a free install of that. Now, this is a really important area when you are going to choose a hosting company. This free Let's Encrypt SSL certificate. Now, this was another major reason why we left HostGator. Now, HostGator do now offer Let's Encrypt free SSL certificates. And what an SSL, just to quickly tell you, is if we look at the top here, this HTTPS, SSL just gives you the ability to use this HTTPS secure protocol. So basically, it creates like a secure connection between your website and the visitor, just so stops like people kind of injecting anything inside the traffic. Or there's plenty of information about SSL, so I'm not going to go too deep into this, but just to say all your websites need to have this SSL because it's part of Google's ranking factors now, and also browsers will highlight, especially Google Chrome, which is the most used browser, will highlight that it's not a secure connection, and that's the last thing you want your visitors to be seeing when they come. So if you do have websites at the moment, you definitely need to look into this option of getting the SSL set up. Most hosting companies now do offer this free one. If the current host you're using doesn't, I highly recommend you move from that host because they obviously don't care about their customers. This is a really important thing. So, and like I said, this is one of the reasons why we left HostGator, was because they had no, they basically said that they had no plans to offer this Let's Encrypt SSL free certificate. So what that meant for us was that the 50 or so websites that we had set up on HostGator, we'd have to buy an SSL certificate for every single one, which obviously would have cost us thousands. So we decided, along with the support issues and stuff like that, kind of to use this to move to a different hosting company. And as it happened, HostGator do now offer it, but they really left it to like the last couple of days before Chrome was going to start highlighting on to everyone this not secure thing. So I think they were basically forced, because probably they were losing customers, to kind of have this option. So it just didn't sit right with us that they did that. So that's why we just don't recommend them no more. And there's a few of the different more technical things that they offer. So with PHP, this is one of the main things that WordPress uses. So you really want to be using the latest versions of PHP, and they give you the option to kind of choose which one you want from inside their control panel, which again, quite a few hosts do that. But you do want to try and get on the latest version just from a security standpoint, and also performance side of things as well. Perl and Python, these are just different languages that they kind of offer. Probably not going to be useful for most people. Secure FTP access. So if you FTP to a site, use a tool to kind of connect to your hosting account rather than using their control panel, then they have these options. Down at the bottom here, they have a couple of the options that they offer for the Geeky account. Now, most people won't use Git and probably won't even understand, so I'm not even going to go there. Staging is quite a useful function, because basically what you can do is you can create like a clone of your WordPress site using their custom staging tool. And then what you can do is, going forward, if you know anything about WordPress, there's quite a lot of updates, and you can kind of test and update before you kind of install it on your main website. So staging is good for that. I'm probably going to do a video on staging in the future. And the last few things here is just really about their servers, the databases, kind of stuff we've covered, and email. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to kind of cover. Like I said, price wise, they're, I'll admit they're not the cheapest. You can, people like HostGator, you can get cheaper, but I think you actually end up paying for the hassle when you kind of go for the cheapest kind of hosting. SiteGround always do really well on these kind of websites that kind of rank hosting companies. They always do well, and one of the reasons why we looked at these was it was highly recommended by quite a few of our colleagues, and we've been totally happy. So that's really everything that I kind of wanted to cover with SiteGround. Like I said, if you do want to go with them, our affiliate link is below, or you can just go direct. It's totally your choice, but it will help support the channel. And I just want to kind of go over the key areas that you kind of want to look at when you're choosing the host. So the first one is like when you're choosing a plan, are you just going to be creating one website? So you need to bear that in mind, whether you need an account that just has one website or whether you need to choose a package that has multiple. So in this case, startup, you can only have one website. These two, you can have multiple. Does the host offer the free SSL that I've just been talking about? If they don't, then I would avoid that host. When it comes to hosts, if they let you choose the operating system, then you want to go with Linux and not Windows. Control panel wise, again, if you have the option, you want cPanel, not Plesk, P-L-E-S-K. Another thing is the support good? So if you're looking at a host and you kind of want to test them out, maybe ask them a question using the support channels that they offer and see how quickly they respond and how, what kind of answer. Is it helpful kind of thing, just to kind of check what their support's like. And also another thing that's probably important for a lot of people is, do they offer like free email accounts or do they charge for email? You may want to have an email hosting company specifically for email anyway, so that might not be a problem. But if you just want to set up stuff like support at your domain name kind of email addresses, then that's something that you probably want to look at. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this video up. If you found the video useful, please click the like button. And if you're watching on YouTube and you want to be notified when I post other videos covering tech and internet business tutorials and tips, then please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you stuck with me to this point, I want to thank you for watching, and I really appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your day.